Hi, listeners. Howard and I discussed the hot topic of superstar law partners and their $20 million paychecks. Enjoy. Hi, friends. And Howard, welcome back. We are going to talk about a very exciting and touchy headline topic that is on the lips of everyone in the legal industry and in the newspapers. Headlining acquisition of talent that are paid massive eight-figure sums, something to the tune of maybe $20 million paychecks with laterals moving over. And so Howard and I are going to just talk a little bit about that, how that's affecting the industry, what he's seeing, some things I've been hearing, and implications for management teams and, frankly, everyone inside of law firms, probably the clients too. So what's your thoughts, Howard?
I think this to put this in context, because I think this is like a brand new phenomenon here. Because if you kind of rewind the clock 2, 3, 4 years ago, that level of comp was never on the horizon. This is really new territory that is going to challenge the way some of these law firms are run and the way that the industry kind of responds to that going forward over the next couple of years. I think that's really exciting. It is what it is. It's not going to change, but I think how firms deal with that and respond to that is an open book.
And what are you hearing from clients? Is it a mixed bag? Is it, um, yay, we get to go after these people now, let's do it?
I think it depends on where you are in the marketplace.
Hmm.
I recently came back from a trip to London, where we had, probably 20, 30 conversations with a whole variety of law firm leaders. Some at the elite level, some at kind of the boutique practice level. And even at an elite level firm, there were people who were telling me, Howard, these compensation requirements are through the roof. We ourselves, as a partnership, we can't even compete at some of these levels with the book of business is robust, great, but we just can't pay 12, 13 million pounds for a lateral. We just can't do it. We're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's new territory for the firm. Like they've never been in that position of saying we won't play this game at this point in time. They may change their decision, but being forced to kind of think about the marketplace in that way. I also hear at the other end of the marketplace where the newly qualified salaries are ratcheting up yet again. So you get this amazing compression at the top and you're getting compression at the bottom, forcing law firms to think about, how are we going to survive in terms of our hourly rate structure across the board, right?
Yeah.
We've never had to deal with that.
Yeah.
And how do how do we run a business where we're kind of locked at the top and we're
Yeah.
kind of locked at the bottom?
Yeah.
Where do we go?
Yeah.
We can only raise our rates so much as a percentage per year. We're being squeezed.
So the last time I heard about outsized market compensation and what were more of IOUs was Dewey and LaBeouf. And unfortunately, they married right around the Great Recession. And there were dynamics unforeseen, although history repeats itself, where the market pulled back and they overcompensated their expected cash flows, and they couldn't keep up the payments to these promised star players. And they built an amazing roster of laterals, not just from the merger, but laterals they brought over and promised huge sums of money back then. I'm a little nervous being a student of public markets and economic cycles, you know, are firms setting themselves up for a repeat?
I don't think that they are. I think that I think these law firms are more sophisticated in their approach.
Okay.
I think that if you can show that you have an 80 to $100 million book of business and are worth that kind of money, there are people who will pay it. I think they're being courted in a totally different way. I think
Yeah.
that this is like it's almost like, the Aaron Rodgers coming to the New York Jets in New York, and everything is done for you to convince you that you are the star that we need to propel the franchise going forward. You want the house? We've got a heliport to transport you. You don't have to worry about transport. We'll take care of your family. I mean, these people are being courted like sports stars.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to keep you on the pitch, to keep you focused, we will have a team of people to keep you happy and engaged. And you don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah,
You just need to be showing up to pitch on the mound at a specific time.
yeah.
That's new. That's brand new for the industry.
It's interesting because so my clientele are more middle market firms of like 50 head count all the way to 200 head count is where I'm focused on firms combining, and I'm talking to managing partners who are saying, Chris, we don't feel like this is sustainable. So part of it is they're sticking their head in the ground. Part of it is um, they talk about a trickle down effect. You have these firms hiring outrageous talent, all these teams following them, and then the market consolidating specialists going to the high rate firms, and this 600 plus firms left with the bag holding, and they have to make really difficult decisions. So it's amazing the effects of COVID, um, the expectations of uh, first year associate salaries going through the roof, what 215 now, I believe, and um, this new superstar level of talent taking material percentage points away from firms of revenue to platforms that can truly resource them in ways that they couldn't even come close to. And so it is changing the game, is what you're saying.
I've heard some of these people who have secured some of these sports stars where they are paired with pursuit teams, that they're stuck in front of a Bloomberg terminal day in and day out, running the stats and uncovering the opportunities to feed to the sports star so they can actually make the pitch.
Yeah,
They just have to show up and do that. There's a whole entourage of
yeah.
people dedicated just to service the star.
Curious the implications of how it affects the rest of all the JDs, all the attorneys in the firm that are seeing this take place, this phenomenon.
Yeah, and I think the music is still playing on that. I think this is like, law firms have been pretty stable structures in terms of organizing the practice group areas and the reporting structure. And then as soon as you hire a sports star, it kind of disrupts the existing structure of a traditional law firm. How do you respond to that? You have to get your investment back. There's a huge seductive ROI, but the traditional structure doesn't suit the support of a sports star like that.
I'm curious what the implications will be for new attorney hires, the junior partners who are looking at the ranks and saying, where's my future in this firm? Um, and just the vision of coming from the leadership team as the firm continues to evolve with such a huge, almost moon coming to a planet and affects the uh, the entire ecosystem of this firm.
I think the orbiting even changes when you kind
Right.
of have these people within the partnership structure. It puts a lot of tension into the existing model. So if again, it comes back to the we were talking earlier or about strategy and growth. You have to be very diligent about what kind of growth you are going after and at what cost.
Yeah. 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 I imagine again, there's trade-offs. Definitely there's trade-offs with firms that grow and then adding this kind of talent. Um,
And also this talent again, when the sports star arrives, I mean, that's the star slugger, but they're going to attract a viable third baseman, right? They're going to get someone on someone in the outfield is going to be interesting to kind of join the team, and so you get this circular effect. Once you're
mhm.
kind of on that path, this isn't usually a one and done situation. You're changing the entire kind of operation of the law firm by going after these very, very prolific, stars in the marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would think it would require strong leadership. I mean, you're bringing in someone, so there has to be relational savvy equity inside the existing partnership. There has to be unique relational connect that hopefully they are a strong fit for the culture. They're a part of the team. All boats are rowing forward towards maybe that strategic, structured future that again we're encouraging firms to think long term on.
And to your
Um,
point, Chris, what team are we talking about? Are we talking about the sports star team versus the other team that we put some money on, right? And
yeah,
how does all that mentoring kind of, progression of a staff attorney becomes an associate, becomes, a junior partner to a full like what's that chain look like these days? I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Um, care to care to think about what this is all going to look like in 5 to 10 years from now? I'd love to play that game.
I think you're I think there was a piece of analysis recently that they looked at the covers of American Lawyer going back 20 years and looking at all the various names that appeared. Um, some are recognizable now, others kind of, have kind of gone. And it's really interesting what's happened over the course of 20 years. I think people have said we're going to see more change in the next 5 years than we have in the last 30 or something like that. So
Wow, that's a lot.
I think I think you're going to see a whole change in the industry with technology coming on board and AI and the talent and the pricing. I think that all those ingredients are mixing in a way that is going to change the very dynamics of the industry going forward.
Wow, you sound like disruption's coming.
I think it's here, Chris. I think the question is like in what magnitude?
Yeah, yeah, very much so.